guys, Leah Michelle Resistance Chicks. It's February 20th, 2017, President's Day. Happy birthday, George Washington.
It's like opposite day. I told you that with everything that is going on in today's world, everybody is turning right, wrong, and wrong, right, and up and down and down and up. And
for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
So do you remember when we showed you the OFA, the Organizing for Action with Barack Obama?
From
they've
his
been
website.
Training people to do all kinds of protests. Well,
they protest.
They're doing that.
They're doing it.
And here's the thing. It seems like it's grassroots, but it's not. It's planned. And not only is it planned, and we're going to show you all the obnoxious things that went on in America today. London had its own noxiousness going on over there.
That's the technical term.
On our President's Day, well, I can get this from the UK. I mean, I understand how you
yeah, this
have an issue with our presidents, but you didn't seem to have an issue with Obama or maybe a Hillary or, you know, all these other awful people.
Don't say you, say them, because our viewers are different.
U.S. President Donald Trump was accused of behaving like a petulant child.
Only the people in the UK use
during
that kind
a
of word.
debate in the British Parliament. I'm sorry, this is like non-news to me, but I know it's news, so we're covering it. It's just, it's so mind-numbingly stupid about the controversial decision to invite him on a state visit. Now, I understand that a state visit means that you get to meet the Queen and all that jazz. So early in his term, comment arose as members of Parliament were discussing a petition calling for the trip to be downgraded because of Trump's well-documented misogyny and vulgarity.
Because he hates women so much that he surrounds himself by professional, highly intelligent women to help him out.
So Katie Hopkins,
that's sarcasm,
said this was a debate with no legal force and no vote. A debate contrived... Wait, I'm sorry. This was a debate with no legal force and no vote. A debate contrived purely as a form of protest to pat on the head the 1.9 million sad individuals who believed they were empowered when they clicked on a petition. Thank you, Miss
Many
Katie
of you
Hopkins.
people have told us to look her up, and we have found her, and yes, we love her.
So the Daily Mail has Katie Hopkins in their nice little online paper here, and News, our National Health Service is clearly in the rudest of financial health, and our elderly have so much social care, they need a Buddhist retreat just to find some personal space. Southern Rail is running more efficiently than Mo Farah after a nourishing plate of tofu mince. And the Lords have finally realized we don't actually care what any of them have to say, because most of them should be tucked away in a nursing home with waterproof flooring. All of these things must be true, because that's the only feasible explanation.
Hang on, you can't. They're not going to understand you if you're laughing.
For why our MPs have just spent 3 hours, you hit me on the shoulder.
I'm sorry.
In Westminster Hall in the House of Commons debating the state visit to the UK by President Trump. And so
she has an incredible knack for making the ridiculous seem even more ridiculous.
A state visit promised to the president and reconfirmed by our very own prime minister. The country must be running like an even better fine-tuned machine than the White House if they are quite happy to spend 3 hours debating a visit they have no power to overturn. 3 hours paid for by the taxpayer. You know how many migrants you probably could have serviced with that? For no purpose other than to see who can single their Muslim feminist, LGBT credentials the loudest.
Predictably, this debate was heavily oversubscribed. Curious, given the empty debating chambers that routinely greet matters. See, nobody agreed. Matters of vital importance to our country, such as veterans' care. Paul Flynn, MP, said the very reason for the debate was because no one would wish to be seen to be insensitive to democratic decisions. Peculiar, given that this bunch of cretins seem to be hugely insensitive to the will of the 63 million Americans who voted for President Trump and are delighted they finally have a businessman for president. This was a debate with no legal force and no vote, a debate contrived purely as a form of protest. to pat on the head the 1.9 million sad individuals who believed they were empowered when they clicked on a petition. If clicking online makes your manhood feel bigger, why not do your Sainsbury's shop online instead? You'll be straddling a giant sequoia by the time you get to the frozen aisle.
What?
You don't know what that is, and I hope it's not perverted.
It sure it is. Of course it is.
Sorry. That's like cursing in another language. I don't
The
know.
Stop Trump Coalition even organized a National Day of Action to coincide with it, enabling the great unwashed to protest once again. Some people even bothered to make new rude signs about Trump or their steel.
And loudly they protested right outside the protest debate being held as a result of the protest petition. They're gonna think we can't read. Try again. That they had all clicked on earlier in protest, a beautiful circle of the protest life, cannibalizing itself right there outside Parliament. Alex Salmond asked if desperation was behind the state visit. I suspect desperation for attention played a large part in his wish to take up 2 seats in the crowded debating chamber. He demanded that the invite for a state visit be rescinded, knowing full well it was already set in stone. There's more. Happily, Caroline Lucas was on hand to speak for vegan matters and the lesbians of Brighton. She wished to deny Trump a visit to the UK because of his denial of basic climate science.
I saw that one. There's a video here. We can't allow him to come because he questions climate change.
I suspect she is also cross he loves a good cheeseburger, but she didn't have time to vocalize this important political point. Curiously, I found myself warming to Nigel Evans despite him being Welsh. He advised the room of gathered narcissists that Trump was voted as president and it was time for us to get over it. Curiously,
we're gonna watch that once you don't read it.
Okay, we're gonna watch that.
Yeah. No to Trump, no to war. You probably should have said that to Obama a couple times. Yeah. And to our Bush president.
No Trump, no war.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
Suddenly, David Lammy was on his feet to talk about the fact that his dad was buried in the United States and he had spent more time in America than in France. Fascinating as this insight into his travel history was, we all wished he would get to the point. He was there to speak for African Americans, presumably on the basis that he is himself black. This is my least favorite type of political argument, akin to me asserting I speak for all women purely because I used to support a perky pair of 36... Okay, we get that. Yeah, her bust size is not important. All right. Inspired Naz Shah, back from suspension from the Labour Party for suggesting Israel should be relocated to the United States, jumped up to speak for Muslims everywhere, again, because she is one. Sadly, reading her own writing is a challenge for her, or reading at all, kind of like us. She tried to remind us what jolly good sorts Muslims are and of the endless value they bring to Bradford. I wondered if she was going to mention Bradford drugs kingpin Mohammed Yaqib, previously acquitted of attempted murder and killed by police marksmen on Monday in a pre-planned operation. Curiously, she gave him a wide berth. One after another, they read their nonsense, pegged on any hook they could find. A mother with mixed-race kids, a Green Party vegan, a black man, a Muslim, a Clinton campaigner, a daughter of an asylum seeker, a woman, I think, all with their own agendas, their own causes, their own issues, tenuously linked to minorities or those desperate to be victims, just as Clinton did, losing sight of the actual debate, blinded by their adherence to a muddled cause. This is the state of our democracy today. These men and women committing 3 hours to a futile debate to signal they are on the side of the liberals, ignoring the democratic decision of 63 million Americans and the majority of the British people who are still in favor of a state visit for the 45th President of the United States. They are deaf to the will of the people, preferring to listen to the voice of the protest instead. Instead, this is the state of British politics. It is an unfortunate sight. Pathetic, truly.
Let's hear Nigel.
We could have listened to her say it.
She didn't have it.
There was no video of it?
I didn't know. I couldn't find a video.
Just grow up. But my final thought on this whole thing is, can we please all just grow up?
Here's our favorite.
For goodness
Mr.
sake,
Farage.
we allow leaders from all over the world to come to our country. We may not agree with their point of view. We ourselves are an important nation. It's important for us to meet and converse on our turf and on theirs. This president, whether you like him or not, was democratically elected. He loves our country. He's good news for Britain as we head into a new world of opportunity post-Brexit. And where's our manners? The Queen's extended an invitation. I just wish this student-type politics wasn't as prevalent or
The Queen has already extended her invitation. Doesn't that just say it all?
I know that how many of you over there, this is the Queen thing in
our country.
This is it.
You've been listening to the Nigel Farage show.
Okay, he's finished. All right, we understand there's a big kind of rift between the people that are, you know, kind of royalists and those that are not, and Lee and I are not going to get in the middle because we don't live there and we don't have the history as for an opinion.
You have a nice blue flower in your
hair.
Yes,
this is my President's Day thing. We're talking about this on President's Day, though.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little clip here from his reporter on the ground during the protests.
Down in Parliament Square. Vincent, what's going on down there?
Well, Nigel, we are expecting around 20,000 people here tonight. That number had turned out about 3 weeks ago, but there's around 4,000, 5,000 people here on Parliament Square. They're very vocal. They've got lots of signs calling for Trump to be impeached. EU one saying, I'm a person, not a bargaining chip. And they've been hearing from a number of speakers on the stage, MPs like Naz Shah and Diane Abbott. I've also spoken to Labour's Shadow Chancellor, John McDonnell, who told me why he thinks Trump shouldn't come for a state visit.
Because I don't believe that Donald Trump deserves a state visit to this country. The state visit is an honour. It's usually, well, it's an honour to world leaders, and it's a way in which we're consolidating a relationship with a world leader, and the way in which I suppose we will work with that world leader in the future. I don't think Donald Trump deserves that honour. For his behaviour in terms of his statements, the misogynistic statements against women, what he's doing to migrants within his own country, these attacks, which many have described as racist against Mexicans, this attack on people who are simply seeking refuge in his country, the way in which he's been discriminatory in terms of the closing of borders, particularly from Muslim countries. I don't think he deserves a state visit, and I just don't think it will help in the relations between our two countries.
But other people like Robert Mugabe and Chinese presidents have had state visits in the past. They're oppressors of human rights. Why is there such a strong feeling now? Why did you come down and express that sentiment so strongly here?
Well, we've expressed the same sentiments in other world leaders as well. We raised the issue about human rights with the Chinese. And with Robert Mugabe, I've been involved in protests against visits by Robert Mugabe, particularly with regard to the ways I've met many people from Zimbabwe who've been treated so harshly by his regime. So we've been consistent about that. I just think this is a path.
An organised...
and be getting on a bit, but he sounds like he's still a student activist. That is my view. I am absolutely astonished at the arguments that are made. We're fine to have despots from all over the world, people who genuinely have committed terrible human rights abuses, but we're not prepared to have a man who was elected on a very clear manifesto that he's trying to put in place.
Let's just be clear for 1 second that Donald Trump has never committed any war crimes. He's never been to war. Yes, there's the argument that he was not in the military, but neither were a lot of other presidents in the past. But the point that Farage is trying to make here is that there have been people that literally are killing people, heads of state in different countries and presidents and kings and who knows whatever that have been given that state trip to Great Britain, and the fact that it's not being extended to Donald Trump, who has literally never done anything. He has not done a single thing but a 90-day travel hold from 7 different countries. Like, that's the only thing that they can pay.
Do you want to listen to some of their little arguments?
The imposition
with this about them not coming,
of
the ones where they don't have a right to do anything about it.
I would myself have been strongly opposed to an address by President Trump in Westminster Hall. After the imposition of the migrant ban by President Trump, I am even more strongly opposed.
There's a word that you all have that you pronounce so well for a man like that. You're boring. That is boring. You're boring. You're boring me.
Anti-Trump chants were heard in Parliament Square before the debate inside even got underway. While those on the street appeared of like mind, it was a different matter among the lawmakers.
I think it's difficult to know whether to be appalled at the morality of this invitation or just astonished at the stupidity of the invitation.
Some said, while we might not like what US President Donald Trump says, he was democratically elected.
And he stood on a platform which he is now delivering.
He's going to go down in history as being roundly condemned for being the only politician to deliver on his promises.
That delivery, however, has been controversial. The president's attempt to ban travel from 7 mainly Muslim nations, among the most contentious policy for some in the UK.
His manner, his behaviour throughout the election period of one that's greatly worrying.
What complaint did the honourable gentleman make when Emperor Hirohito came here, who was responsible for the rape of Nanking?
Prime Minister.
That man, I have to tell you, looks like everyone on the BBC and all the Masterpiece Theatres.
And if you don't like that we use his accent, I'm sorry, it's the only one that we were ever taught.
Mr. Theresa May announced the state visit last month during a trip to Washington for talks with Trump.
The real politics of this debate is that Donald
Is
Trump...
that a misogynist right there? He helped her hold her hand.
Nah, he's a woman hater.
will be coming to Britain on a state visit. The invitation has been extended. He's come.
I heard though, did you hear they were expecting 20,000 and only about 4 or 5 showed up? Because that's the thing that we read about. Make your numbers a little bit bigger. Make them feel a little bit bigger. I think I got an Australian accent in there. But what I have heard is that they can kind of all go together anyways. Alright, one more video. No, maybe not. Did I have one?
Did the turd face.
Oh, that's Milo. That's got some bad news there. Bad news for him anyways. Alright, well, this is from Breitbart London.
So that Trump knows that he is not welcome here.
Is this in the United States or this was...
This is in London.
Now,
No.
my friend, you talk about inequality, but it's my community that is subjected, marginalized, scapegoated. You better focus for our rights as opposed to blame us for suppressing people. Now, I'll finish with this. You know, we value our friendship with US, and we're not against the people of US, and we're not against a US president coming to this country, but we are against divisive politics.
This is the challenge from Megabits from Shower Productions. Black activists.
For our fellow Americans, we're being told by people in the UK that President Trump and the whole electoral process ever since then is constantly being covered on their news. It is a very big deal over there. I mean, just one guy said that if President Trump breaks wind, they are going to hear about it on the news, and then he could probably find out what Trump's shoe size is.
I have watched a little bit of British television. I've watched a little bit of British movies and things like that. You have the worst potty mouths on the planet.
You do have a little bit of a potty mouth.
There is quite the hypocrisy for anyone to say that Donald Trump's statements 10 years ago or whatever on tape are bad compared to whatever plays on your television all the time. You're all dirty mouthed and you know it.
It's not just dirty mouth, it's a little bit crude.
Yes, crude, very crude. Crude, I mean, Donald is not saying these things now. I mean, I hear the words that come out of people. And see, we don't do swear words around here, but I get it that it's kind of part of your language, so like, I get it. So like, I just gloss over it, right? But the fact that these protesters and the British Parliament are all righteous about Donald Trump and misogyny over and over and over again.
And his statements that he made.
It's just so... They're puppets. You're puppets on a string. You were given a line to say, and that's what you do. You just say it over and over again. Right. And I'm joking. We love all of you from the UK. We love
potty mouths or no, we love you.
Exactly. But the joke of it is that they say the way he is his crude statements. Oh, come on, get over yourselves.
He who is without sin cast the first stone.
You have to judge a person on their character now.
Right.
And Donald Trump's character, as of now, he has turned. He has made a change, and they don't like that because they don't make changes in their lives. If they're set on something, they stick with it.
Right.
And we are not here to explain away Donald Trump's stupid statements.
No, but I guarantee you that President Obama and President Clinton and President Bush have
And
all
Hillary.
said the exact same types of things. They just
Hillary.
didn't get caught on tape.
Yes.
Okay?
Exactly.
So that's the difference.
Exactly.
It's all fun and games until somebody gets caught.
Bill Clinton was caught on tape. All kind of a junkie nug. I mean, he lied under oath. He was impeached. And so, I mean, it's just...
It's not an excuse. It is vile, but Trump has repented and he has apologized.
Right.
And there's something that we do as a society, as the human race, is when somebody apologizes about something and they repent and they say that it was wrong, we forgive them and we accept that if they continue to walk that same and evidence the apology out in the way that they are living. And he has been doing that.
I was watching it. It was just a mess of all these different insults against Donald Trump at the thing. It was just a mess.
Oh
So stick with us. We're gonna do the.
We're gonna do the not my President's Day, which is to me ridiculous.
Today's President's Day, and we're supposed to be celebrating our great president, George Washington, his birthday.
To take this day and sully it and turn it into a platform for something.
The best political man that's ever lived. I mean, well, I'm just gonna start it with bulletproof story. I'll do it separately.
Okay, so come back in just a little bit and we will have that ready for you. All right, this is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it's not a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Resistance Chicks and Mass Faith 3. Ring that bell for notifications so you get an email every time we put out a new video, and find us on Facebook where we can interact with you guys on a daily basis. We love you guys. God bless.
This is I'm stunned face right now.
Was cold, all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid, but you called me.